It's nice. It's for you anyway. It's your day off and you've come in. Thank you so much. But, you know, you've got some respite now from what's been going on. Time to think and perhaps take a step back. And what are you making of it?
Well, I think that nothing's really changed, unfortunately. People are still worried about what's going to happen with interest rates and actually whether or not the global practice of going to zero or negative interest rates is really going to work. And that's, you know, causing investors to sit on the sideline to the major point, I think.
Is the dollar still the big story this week, you think? We're going to see that they're going to continue with this rebound and this momentum, I guess, with the dollar?
Well, I think we're looking at the jobs number on Friday. That's going to be another key driver for the Fed.
We're always looking at something, aren't we?
Well, there's always something to look at. I think probably behind that, though, is actually, you know, coming back into US earnings and what we're going to see there, because obviously the US earnings are actually starting to slow down, and that's going to worry people, especially if the Fed really does go ahead and put its interest rates up. But on the other side, we need interest rates to go up so they have, you know, room to manoeuvre should things really get worse. And I think the other thing at the end of the day is zero rates. We've been telling China for years that, you know, lending to the state-owned industries at unreasonable rates doesn't work. And yet here we are for the rest of the Western world doing exactly that.
And talking about the dollar, how concerned should the Fed be about a stronger dollar? Because now, Goldman Sachs is coming out saying that...
Don't worry.
You know, yeah, don't worry. Because it's not translating into significantly cheaper import prices anyway. So, stronger dollar, whatever.
It's always going to be a worry for them. I mean, yes, I mean, a lot of the US companies, you know, do focus on the home markets, and that's obviously a key thing for them, and they want to keep that going. A stronger dollar probably does help in the global sense of things, in so much as it means that generally the global economy is recovering, and that's what we need to see. We can't just see America grow and nowhere else grow. It doesn't work that way. So we do need generally businesses to do better. That's the trouble.
Is China growing, though? Right now, we have industrial profits coming in better.
Well, yes. I mean, China are benefiting, obviously, from, you know, they've had that devaluation. They've got cheap oil, you know, two of the main drivers for them. But they've still got a lot of issues, and we've seen that in the last couple of weeks with the MPC conference. You know, they are looking at growth. They are thinking that it's going to slow down. It's going to be very difficult to move from that, you know, huge, heavy industries into, you know, a service sector, you know, domestic consumption story. That's still the aim, but it's a big ask.
Do they need to do anything else apart from what they've announced? A little bit of this, a little bit of that to meet these targets?
Well, I think they probably do, but, you know, whether they can or not is the other big question.
Whether they say it as well.
Yes. I mean, it's great. We can make huge statements about what we're going to do, but we said, you know, they said they were going to cut, you know, the SOEs, but then they said they're going to cut the army, but the SOEs are going to take up the slack from the army in jobs. You know, it doesn't quite, you know, it doesn't quite make a circle. Yes.
But is it possible to have painless reforms in China and also achieve the 6.5% that they are aiming for?
Probably not. I mean, realistically not. And, of course, now we have the added thing over the weekend about this open letter asking the president to stand down, and is that going to, you know, create a further clampdown and crackdown on, you know, insurgency almost within the government? And that will stifle decisions being made. So that's going to be another hiccup or a road bump for them.
Let's look at the market angle for a second. Just when are we going to get this huge premium between H and A shares sorted out?
Oh, my gosh, we've been talking about it forever.
No, I've not been talking about it for a while, and I looked, and it's still huge. There's a disparity between the two.
Actually, it was supposed to narrow with this link.
Of course, and then it got wider.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Well, I think the trouble is, yes, with the Connect, it was supposed to help. The trouble is that a lot of large firms won't use the Connect because they don't have the full ownership of the shares, they don't have voting rights. You know, realistically, that premium will not disappear until they take all the border controls down and allow, you know, investors to freely invest in A shares rather than having to go through either the Connect or having to have their own licence or whatever, or using the QFI programme or whatever. So you're always going to get that hiccup. And again, you've also got the fact that actually, you know, the online investors are the local domestics.
And Hong Kong Hang Seng trading at, what, 9.8 times earnings? I mean, that's ridiculously cheap. I mean, what is being priced in here?
Well, it is cheap, but equally, you know, you're looking at what is the growth of these companies going forward. And in a globally slowing down economy, which is what we've seen for the last couple of years, it's very difficult. You know,
but nobody else is marked down quite as much.
Well, yes, but I mean, it's rather like, you know, Hong Kong becomes the ATM for Asia. If you need to take your money out, where do you take it out from? You know, the easiest place to take it out, which is either going to be Tokyo or it's going to be Hong Kong. And that, I think, is an effect that we have. Plus the fact we're linked to the dollar. So, you know, people don't have a currency risk here.
Are you excited about this Hong Kong Shenzhen Connect that they've said maybe this could be happening this year then? Or is it going to be much the same as...
Don't ask him that question. You can see he's already he's going to burst with absolute delight on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, the trouble is, it's going to be like, you know, it just means at the end of the day, there are more companies that people can invest in, but again, it's a learning process. You know, a lot of those companies we have no experience of, so it's going to be a learning process. So I think it'll be a very slow start. It's a nice idea, it's good to have for the long term, but I don't think it's going to make a radical difference in the short term.
We're back to square one. I mean, the first quarter's over. You know, a lot of the markets that lost in January are pretty much where they were at the start of the year. We were just talking about the Hang Seng. 8 shares are, what, 8 times, even one below a price to book. Which areas of the Hang Seng are you constructive on? I mean, is it property? Is it casinos?
I mean, people are worried about property, but then, you know, realistically, they're not property companies. They're conglomerates. You know, they have, you know, they have building maintenance, they have construction, they have everything. You know, some of them run bus services, some of them run telephone companies. You know, they're conglomerates, so it's slightly different there. I think the areas that people really are looking at are probably healthcare and education, because people in China, that's what they want to spend their money on. You know, they're getting an aging population, they have money, so that's the sort of things they're going to spend on their kids. Hong Kong property is always going to be difficult. You know, it's never going to be as radically, you know, marked down as people hope it will be, because there's huge demand here. So it's quite stable, but you know, there's always those fluctuations as interest rates change. There's a knee-jerk reaction.